I believe we have some super chats.
All right, let's get some super chats.
There are a bunch of things we want to talk about from an individual player standpoint, but we will start it out with Corey's super chat because we were going to talk about this guy anyway, probably a little bit later in the show. But Corey, thank you so much. We will talk about Sam Ersson. As Corey says, at what point can we call Ersson a capital S stud?
Man, 2 S's in that name. I guess 3 with Sam. One of them has to stand for stud.
There's a lot of S's in that name.
Stand for stud. This is tough for me. No, listen, he is the reason they won this game.
He's the reason why they stayed in this game, definitely.
He's the reason they won because it's over in the first, if not.
Exactly.
Like, you need that from your goalie, and he gave it to them. And he also, listen, they didn't have a ton of chances, but he did make the stops when he had to later in the game when they're protecting a lead for the entire third period. Yeah. And that to me was almost like, this is bad news.
Yeah. And there's something to be said too. I think that, look, block shots are block shots. The goalie didn't have to deal with them, whatever. I always have thought there's something to be said about missed shots, not always, but a lot of times can be attributed to the positioning of a goalie.
Absolutely.
Because if the goalie is in good position, you're going to have to pick corners to beat him, and therefore you're going to miss more shots. And I think that's what you did see a bit in the third period. They were trying to pick corners against Sam Ersson because they were having trouble beating him. And because of that, they missed a lot of shots they otherwise wouldn't have missed because they had to find the perfect spot to beat a goalie who was playing really well. I think for me, I'm just happy for Ersson that he had this game.
Needed it.
Because I don't think he was playing that bad during that 5-game stretch, but his numbers went in the toilet. And you were already starting to see people, the same people who were ready to designate him the starter long before Carter Hart was where Carter Hart is right now. But they were ready to be like, Ersson's the guy, Ersson's the guy. Those same people were starting to turn on and be like, is he actually that good? Is he faltering under the pressure and all that other stuff? Well, tonight against a Florida team that I think has as good of a chance as anyone of winning the Stanley Cup, he reminded everybody why they were so excited about him in early to mid-January.
So I took a look at the schedule. Flyers, 31 games left this season. 9 this month, no back-to-backs. March 1st and 2nd, they have back-to-backs, but it's not a 3 and 4. They have 2 days off before those games. March 23rd, 24th, they have a back-to-back. That is a 3 and 4. April 5 and 6th is a back-to-back. They have 3 days off prior. He could conceivably start 25 or more of these last 31 games.
It's an interesting point. I think in February he's going to play a lot of these games because February is a relatively reasonable schedule.
There's no back-to-backs. No back-to-backs doesn't even really frame it. They have multiple days.
Yeah.
The condensed schedule of 50 games early leads to plenty of time off in this last little sprint here. So I guess the question, we're going to find out about Sam Ersson. He's going to get a ton of playing time. Should they, do you think, run him out as much as possible? Like I'm saying, 25 or more of these last 31, or maybe Cal Peterson is an NHL caliber goalie. Maybe he's not. Let's say right now Sam Ersson is their only NHL caliber goalie in the organization. They don't have anyone stashed anywhere. Someone's coming eventually, but he's Russian, so who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully he's coming. Do you think maybe they should run him out as much as possible, or maybe be a little bit more cautious because he's your only guy?
See,
how should they play this?
You know what? Honestly, I'm of the opinion
I kind of want to run him.
I don't want them to put him in a position where he's going to get hurt. If they're back-to-backs,
the 3 and 4s, give him his time.
Exactly. And I trust that Kim Dillabaugh, the goalie coach, will inform John Tortorella when he feels like Ersson is a little gassed. And because I do not want them to injure this guy. However, I really don't have a problem leaning on him because here's the way I look at it. Okay. We all know what Cal Peterson is. We all know what Cal Peterson isn't. Even if they were to swap him and Felix Sandstrom, I think we all have a pretty good idea what Felix Sandstrom is and isn't. If the Flyers are in a playoff race, they owe it to these players to put them in the best chance to succeed, the best position to succeed. And right now, Sam Ersson puts them in the best position to succeed in an individual game. if you're going to say, well, we're just tossing this game out there because Cal Peterson needs a game, like, I get it in a back-to-back. I get it in a 3 and 4. You don't want to run your goalie into the ground. Danny Briere straight up said, this guy is young. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. However, if you're trying to win every single individual game the way the Flyers have said they are, Sam Ersson gives you a significantly better chance every single night to win over Cal Peterson or Felix Sandstrom. I think as long as you are not risking his health, I think you play him as much as possible.
And like, I know, I know this might sound a little bit like, something I criticized the Flyers for a few years ago, where they started Brian Elliott every game the month of December. And it was like, well, if you look at every game as an individual, like in a vacuum, yes, he does give you the best chance. However, he was 10 or 11 years older than Sam. It was either his age 34 or 35 season. I don't remember which one. But even if it was his age 33, like, we're talking about a 24-year-old goalie right now. I think it would behoove everyone, like, not just to keep them in this race, at least up to the deadline. Maybe, if they trade everyone at the deadline, we'll get into that in just a minute. Okay. Throw Felix fucking Sandstrom in there because you wave the white flag. But if they keep themselves in it, even through the deadline, if they move a couple of key pieces, you do owe it to that's the make good almost. Like, yes, we did get rid of our third best defenseman. Also, we're giving you the right goalie every night. Like, that's almost the give back. Yeah. Like, we are keeping you in it. We are giving you the chance.
Yeah. I'm with you.
We all silly like the mayor.